Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and in today's episode, we're continuing our series of episodes talking about each individual NHL team and their players and what I think about their fantasy developments this season. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate it. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year, and the majority of you guys that are watching my videos are not subscribed, so please hit that button. It would really mean the world to me. Without further ado, let's jump into what I project the Panthers lines to look like. So top line, I see Verhaeghe, Barkov, and newcomer Sam Reinhart. On the second line, I see Huberdeau, Bennett, and Owen Tippett. On that third line, I see Vatrano, rookie Lundell, and Hornqvist. On the fourth line, I see Marchment, Achardi, and Duclair. Obviously, if Lundell doesn't make the team, Reinhart could be the third line center, and then Duclair could be either the top line or the second line right winger. On defense, we got Weegar, Ekblad, Montour, Nudivara, Forsling, Gudas, and in goal, we have Knight and Bobrovsky. So jumping into the draft rankings, in Yahoo Drafts, the first player who's ranked the highest is Jonathan Huberdeau, being drafted at 17.1 on average, and last year he had an awesome year, like he always does, 61 points in 55 games. The guy's definitely going to be above a point per game pace again this year. Should do great on a really, really good Florida Panthers team. I actually have the Panthers to win the Cup this year, so the Panthers are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think Huberdeau is going to do just fine. Next is Aleksander Barkov, and I have pretty much the same thing to say about him. He's amazing. He's going to be about a point per game as well. He's a fantastic player, and you cannot go wrong drafting him where he's currently being drafted. Last year, Barkov was 11th in shots on goal too. That's an extra bonus as well. Next is Aaron Ekblad, currently being drafted at around 49-50. And last year he had 22 points in 35 games. But he had 101 shots in just those 35 games. He looked really, really elite last year. And he's the guy who's manning Florida's top power play now. There's no Yandel anymore. Ekblad, I see having a really, really strong season coming up. And I don't mind drafting him where he's going at all. I really, really like Ekblad this year. Next, I have Sam Reinhart. And last year, he had 40 points in 54 games with the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, he was a minus 28, but that's not going to happen this year. He's going to be on a much better team. If he plays with Barkov, I absolutely love drafting Sam Reinhart this year because he's going to be on an elite line. He's probably going to be top power play as well. I think he's going to have an amazing season if that's the case. If Lundell doesn't make the team and Reinhart is suddenly your third line center, I'm not as high on him. So I'm going to keep an eye on Panthers training camp, and I'll let you know what the lines are looking like. I think he's going to play with Barkov. I really do. But if he does end up on that third center spot, I'm not as high on him. Next is Sam Bennett, and I like Sam Bennett a lot. When he came back from Calgary, he got 15 points in 10 games with a plus 12. So yeah, he was pretty good once he joined Florida Panthers. Obviously, those numbers are a bit inflated, right? But he's going to be playing with Huberdeau. And either Duclair or Tippett or whoever he's playing with, he's got a real good chance to succeed. He's going to be top power play as well, like he was at the end of last season. And I can't see him doing too badly. I really like him where he's currently being drafted at 110. Next is MacKenzie Weegar, Big Mac. I really like Big Mac over here. 36 points in 54 games last year. He was amazing once Ekblad got injured. And even when Ekblad was healthy, he was fine. He wasn't even getting top power play time, but this guy is just great all around the ice. He's a great defenseman all around. He hits a lot. He blocks a lot of shots. And the offensive production that he had last year is not like it's unsustainable. It's not like he was scoring a whole bunch of goals and his shooting percentage was inflated through the roof. No. They're mostly assists, and Florida's team is just really elite now, and he gets a lot of ice time with the top guys. So Weegar could definitely be a good value where he's currently being drafted at 115.5. I like him better in bangers leagues though. Next is Carter Verhaeghe, and last year he had 36 points in 43 games, and he's going to play with Barkov. I don't see him playing anywhere else. If you're playing with Aleksander Barkov on the top line in Florida, they're going to do pretty well, and I can't even believe he's being drafted this late. I absolutely think he's a real steal being drafted in this range. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Next is Patric Hornqvist, and he's someone I actually don't like because I don't see him playing on the first or second lines this year. He's going to, at best, play on the third line, and I mean, it's good. Florida's definitely got a good third line. I just don't see him doing enough to merit a draft price this high. Next is Radko Gudas, And obviously, if you're drafting Radko Gudas, you're in a league where hits really factor in. If you're drafting Gudas in a league where there's no hits, what the hell are you doing? Gudas is good for one thing and one thing only: hits. He led the league in hits last year. So if that's something you need in a categories league, in a bangers league, definitely a good pick. I don't mind him where he's currently being drafted. Just do not draft this guy outside of hitting leagues because he's not going to do anything for you. Next is Anthony Duclair, and I have him as a so-so because it depends on where he ends up in the lineup, right? If he ends up on the fourth line, like it's definitely possible. He played some time on the fourth line last year. I'm not sure how much value he's going to have. But if he ends up on the first or second line, suddenly Duclair is an intriguing option. If my draft is really early and before training camp, I might take a shot at him with your last pick of the draft. But if your draft is after training camp, just follow me on Twitter, guys, at FantasyTip, and I'll put out tweets. I'll let you know what these lines are looking like, and I'll let you know if Duclair is worth a pickup in the draft. Next is Frank Vatrano, and he's going to be a third liner this year. I don't see any situation where he's not a third liner unless there's really a lot of injuries. So I don't absolutely love him. I don't think he's the worst pickup in the world if you're in an insanely deep league. But outside of that, I'm going to stay away from Vatrano because I don't really see him getting that many opportunities to succeed this year. And last but not least is Gustav Forsling. And my advice is not to draft Forsling because I don't think he's going to do much with Ekblad, a healthy Ekblad in the lineup. But if Ekblad gets hurt again, he's the first person I would scoop up, and I would scoop him up fast because he looked pretty good towards the end of the year last year. Now let's take a look at the Florida Panthers goalies. And there's Spencer Knight, who's being drafted around 85th overall, and there's Bobrovsky, who's being drafted about 120th. And this year, I like Spencer Knight. I think he's going to be the guy in Florida. He's going to get the majority of the starts there. He looked great towards the end of the year. But Bobrovsky is still a factor, right? He's not just going to go from being this highly paid goalie who was expected to be their goalie for a long time to just non-existent, right? I think Bobrovsky's still going to get at least 33% of the starts. I'd say he gets a third of the starts, which still makes Spencer Knight pretty valuable. I don't absolutely love Bobrovsky this year. You could stay away from him. I probably would. There are better options in his range by far that are going to get a lot more starts. All right, you've reached the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really like the Florida Panthers this year, and I have them as my Stanley Cup winners. Obviously, it's a ballsy pick. I could go with someone easy like Tampa Bay, but I think Florida is going to impress this year. Anyway, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.